cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater.
Had a wife but couldn't keep her. If you're out there and you have been cheated on, or you've been the cheater, or you suspect that you're being cheated on right now and you don't know what to do,
well, if you fit into any of these categories, then this video is for you. Today we will be discussing wisdom as it pertains to infidelity. Stick around because you won't want to miss this. This episode should not be used as a substitute for medical or mental health advice. Individuals are advised to seek independent medical advice, counseling, and/or therapy from a healthcare professional with respect to any medical condition, mental health issue, or health inquiry, including matters discussed on this episode.
Hey, good people.
Hey, y'all.
Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday.
Yes,
we are so glad you're here.
Yes.
I'm Dr. Lakeba Williams. This is Fresh Hope today.
Yeah, and I am Lauren Williams, and we are so excited to be here with y'all today. Yes.
We took a little bit of a hiatus.
Yeah.
It is homecoming season. We are repping homecoming schools, HBCU style, Southern University, Baton Rouge campus.
Yeah, I went to Clark Atlanta University for grad school, so I'm repping y'all today.
Yeah, so we did a little bit of homecoming. I went to homecoming. Yeah. Lauren's going to homecoming. We're just enjoying life.
Yeah.
But you are always on our minds.
Yes.
And so we have been scribbling our little notes, passing them back and forth, reading
videos,
our little books.
Yes.
Yes. And so what are we talking about? What's the show about tonight?
Yeah, so we are talking about a very serious topic. Today's episode is on infidelity. Yeah, and so we want to make sure that we by no means are making light of infidelity. We understand how painful it can be, but at the same time, we've got to get some information. We've got to gain some wisdom about it, right? To increase the quality of our lives, as we always say.
Yes.
So without further ado, you want to just get into it?
I do.
Right.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So we always start with the knowledge. As you guys know, we do the
keep
knowledge, and then we go to the
knowledge.
understanding, and then we conclude our time together with the wisdom. So let's talk about the knowledge. What is infidelity? So we've got just a general definition here just to kind of start it off, to set the tone. Infidelity, the action or state of being unfaithful to a spouse or other sexual partner, right? So I'll read it one more time.
Okay.
The action or state of being unfaithful to a spouse or other sexual partner. What do you think about that definition?
I like the definition. It's general enough to be able to tease out really what constitutes unfaithful.
Right.
But it's specific enough to say spouse or sexual partner. Because sometimes folks start splitting hairs and say, well, I wasn't doing this, or this. Or I didn't, you might think I was doing that, but I wasn't doing that. But you was doing something because my little intuition went off.
Right.
And, you know, we want to pay attention to that.
Right.
And so unfaithful.
Right. Another way to describe an unfaithful act, and this is the word that we are going to be using throughout the episode tonight, is an affair, right? So Dr. Janice Springs, she is a clinical psychologist, and she does a lot of her research and work around relationships and affair, more specifically recovery after affair. She has a book. So if you like what we're talking about today, we're going to put a plug in for her. It's called After the Affair. I think there's like 2 volumes out now, and it's wonderful. We've read it. We want to encourage you to read it. And it's very helpful information. Her definition of an affair is very interesting, and we really love this one. So her definition of an affair is whatever the partner, your partner, constitutes as unfaithful. That is her definition of an affair. So, for example, if your partner is texting other people or chatting with other people on social media, right? You go to them and you say, hey, I feel like you're being unfaithful, or this constitutes an affair, right? That was very formal, but y'all get what I'm saying. You know, that ain't right. You cheating. That sounds more like it. And the partner says, this is not cheating. I haven't slept with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't
splitting hairs.
I ain't pulled up to nobody's house. Well, Dr. Janice Spring's definition says if you as the person, as the partner, constitutes that action as being unfaithful. If I'm looking over your shoulder and I'm seeing what you're doing and I'm feeling uncomfortable about those actions and I designate that as being unfaithful, well, it is in fact an affair, right? So we wanted to just start with that definition. We thought that was really important. What are your thoughts on Dr. Janice's definition of an affair?
I really like it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It's non-traditional. It's cool, isn't it?
Well, it is.
Yeah.
It gives the length and the breadth. It gives us room to work with. And because every situation is different. And I just appreciate how you masterfully brought us to this place. Because when you think about it, it's about betrayal.
Right.
And we did an episode earlier, you all might recall, about betrayal. And if you didn't get a chance to watch that, go on and find your way to a previous episode about betrayal and then come back to this one. Because I think that one, I know it does. I don't think I know it does. It lays a really good foundation for understanding betrayal, but we'll offer you a definition for that. Because I think that really is helpful. So what constitutes a betrayal? What do you guys think about that? What constitutes a betrayal? Well, it's any action or inaction that may violate the contract of a committed relationship. All right, so we're teasing it out a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I think that's what she ran into.
Yeah.
Was this idea that we have an agreement.
Yeah. Yeah.
To death us do part. Or we have an
agreement.
Understanding.
Right.
That I'm not doing this, and this.
Contractual.
Yeah.
Verbal.
And you not doing this, and this.
Right.
And when you find out that they're doing this, and this, well, that's a betrayal. It constitutes an affair. And there's infidelity there.
Right.
And so what do we do with it?
Right.
Do we Jasmine Sullivan it? Do we bust the windows out the car? Is that what we doing these days?
Right.
I mean, I don't know what we're going to do.
What are we doing these days? Right, absolutely.
Well, we got to have the knowledge so we can understand
What's
that
happening.
and then get the wisdom.
Yeah.
Knowledge, understanding, and wisdom.
Right.
Why bust the windows out the car?
Right.
Because it's devastating.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
It actually constitutes, can in many ways be considered or experienced as a trauma.
Yeah.
But before we do that,
the
knowledge related to
different types.
the kinds of affairs, that's where we
that.
want to send our attention at this point. So what are the types of affairs and relationships? Well, you have the romantic affair, which we all know about that. Someone that you are romantically involved with, a spouse or a romantic partner that you're sexually involved with, begins to have a sexual relationship with someone else.
Right.
This happens. It happens a lot.
It happens a lot.
Yeah. And what we have to do is we have to begin to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it happens in public spaces as well, in public relationships of famous people and whatever. And we'll talk about it as it relates to their situation or somebody else's situation. But we don't talk about it related to our situations. And that is where we miss an opportunity.
Right.
Because here's what I know. I bet you $1 to a dime. You're out there and you watching this. It's happened to you or you've done it. So none of us are exempt from it.
Yeah.
This is the human condition when we are kept slipping.
That is a word right there.
This is the human condition when we are caught slipping. Man, I feel like I want to get on the turntable and bring that back. Because it is.
Yeah.
No one's exempt from it. We have to really guard our souls. We really have to back out of a thing if we're not feeling it or we feel like whatever. The right thing to do, and there is a right and a wrong way. Keith Sweat said it this way. He said there's a right and a wrong way to love somebody.
Right, absolutely.
It's ringing in my ears right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's important to note that in the romantic affair, this is like an ongoing affair. So this is something that goes on for a really long time. Your partner, you might be aware of it, or you might become aware of it and be extremely shocked to understand or to know how long that the affair has been occurring. So the second type of affair is a casual affair, similar to romantic. Still considered sexual, but it's more so like a fling. So this is an example. An example would be a one-time situation, a one-night stand, a vacation, whatever the case may be. So we're keeping in mind different types, right? Romantic is like you got a whole nother...
A family on the other side of town? Okay. Yeah, paying the bills over there and over here. Or not paying the bills. The audacity.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Come
The
on.
audacity.
In my room.
Right.
Come on.
Right. Absolutely. So those are the first two. So we've got romantic, casual, right? The third type of affair is emotional affair.
Emotional affair.
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
So this could be platonic.
That's why you got to go back and watch the betrayal video.
Yeah.
Because if you are, in a situation where your partner has built an alliance with someone else and they're talking about your marriage with that person and their unhappiness.
Or your relationship.
Yeah, or your relationship, that constitutes an emotional affair.
Absolutely.
Talk about an emotional
So this
affair.
is a platonic or non-sexual relationship that may be considered an affair. So it lacks sexual intimacy, but it has intense and enduring emotional intimacy, right? So that's a really sticky one. And so that's why Dr. Janice Spring's definition of an affair is just so crucial because it constitutes whatever the partner feels uncomfortable about. And this is not exempt in an emotional affair, right? So you can't split hairs and say, okay, well, we're not sleeping together, but every time you piss me off, I get on the phone with her.
Yeah.
Or I get on the phone with him.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's a lot of energy that could be used.
What you're doing, you're not going to your partner.
Exactly. That could be used to repair and mend the relationship is being dispersed in other areas, which is taking away, which is starts with a B, betrayal. Okay?
May I share something with you that just came up for me?
Yeah, what's coming up?
Just experiences or relationships with folks with narcissistic tendencies. They will, if that has been your experience and you've been on the other end of an affair with a partner with those tendencies, oftentimes they'll have flying monkeys in their lives. People in their lives that they pull in and they call and talk about you and do the smear campaign about you and she ain't doing this or she doing this and this is what she's doing and all this kind of, and the flying monkeys like on the wheels.
I was just about to say,
like
y'all know them ugly monkeys.
Don't nobody bring me no bad news. They don't want no bad news. They just want to, yes, you're right. Whatever you say about her is right.
Leave them.
Yeah.
Leave
all
them.
that. Yeah. So we're going to stop right there and say, at some point, there are going to be people that it can be an emotional affair because they're just a flying monkey. They just saying yes to everything that you say, like you're right. They won't tell you, no, you're wrong for what you did to her.
And the goal of the person with narcissistic tendencies, which is an episode coming up, is to be affirmed.
Yes.
Constantly, right? So
it's not challenged.
Oh, that's like kryptonite, right?
And so that would be a tendency for an affair. If you're not affirming them anymore and you're calling them to task.
My God, today.
Well, you might be suspect to a affair because you're not giving that supply anymore. But like we said, stay tuned. We're going to run up on that one too.
Right, absolutely.
What's the next time?
So the next affair is cyber affair. And this one is really prominent, I think, in our own individual practices as therapists. But also as a collective. We're all, affected by what's going on today and how influenced we are by social media and by the internet. And so this one has kind of risen to the top. An online cyber affairs, just as it sounds, is one or more occurrences, online, webcam, email, text, chat, maybe anonymous, maybe a person that they know, maybe somebody they've never met before. But it's the same. There's sexual undertones, and it's a mixture between, we're finding sexual undertones and emotional affairs. So it's a mixture of both.
Thank you, Lauren.
Yeah.
Yes. The sexting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we're giving you and want to affirm for some of you out there.
Oh my God.
Maybe you've experienced this. And Lauren and I have a good time. We kiki and haha, and but really we're holding space for you right now. That's a tough thing to run up on, because you see something on your partner's phone, or when, God forbid, your children run up on a partner's tablet and see something. It's just devastating, right? And it's more than this, though. We're gonna also add in there, it's the dark web, where you got the Atlanta back pages, and some of y'all out there, you probably writing it down like, I just want to visit the Atlanta back page, but don't do that. Like, that's where the seediness of the underbelly of where you can find this massage, where you'll get this service. How do I know? Because I have heard time and time again of people experiencing those things and being heartbroken because they didn't have any idea that this even existed. But you're with some folks that will expose the darkness, because the light is what makes the roaches run. And what we're about today is we are serving notice.
The people roaches?
We are serving notice on this behavior. We're calling it to task. If you're going to be in a relationship, we're going on and relate.
Yeah, you need some wisdom.
Yeah, like we said, a relationship is two people on a ship headed in a direction for both people's highest good. And last I checked, if you are in a situation like this and your heart's broken and you've been traumatized by it, that is not in your highest good. As a matter of fact, it's messing with your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, your psychological health. And we're going to talk about that.
Let's get into
let's do it. But the sanctioned affair is the last one. There's some people that are in these polyamorous relationships, these open relationships. They're swingers. They are in a marriage that is legally sanctioned, but they're also in a sanctioned affair where the partner knows, they have an understanding. They know that they're with this person, and but an affair is an affair is an affair. It's just an affair. And so if that's what you're into, polyamorous, then that's your thing. But just know the effects of it are far-reaching. Because humans, the way we are wired is for connection. And every time we're with someone sexually, we're giving a piece of us to that person. And nobody can escape that. I know we think we can. No one escapes that. Maybe you're so numb because you're high or whatever, or maybe you're shopping, or a lot of things that we do to numb ourselves. We all do it. Eating, snacking at night in the bed with a bowl of ice cream. I don't know. Whatever it is, there are ramifications for those as well. Let's go ahead and make a segue into the two types of people. So then we're going to characterize it this way. You have the unfaithful partner, and then you have the hurt partner. And we have looked at information from Dr. Spring. We have looked at information from the Gottmans, Doctors John and Julie Gottman. We have looked at Dr. Esther Perel's information. And we've just done a big deep dive. And they're like almost extremes, right? There's this Dr. Spring, she says, that sucks, and the hurt partner needs ministry. To the Gottmans say, well, that sucks, but you may want to have individual therapy for the unfaithful partner too, because if they stay in the relationship, they are going to need grief counseling because they're leaving the partner that they were in if it's the romantic affair that they've been in a relationship with. Two in the middle, where and these are generalizations. Go ahead and do some research on your own. We're just, again, summarizing these things. Esther Perel in the middle says, well, a lot of people cheat, and why are we making such a big deal about it? I think everybody has to figure out for themselves, and that's why I like Dr. Spring and her definition.
Same.
Because if you're in a situation or a relationship with someone that constitutes that as an affair, and they say that is cheating and that is hurting me, then an affair is an affair, that's an affair.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts about what I've just
I
shared?
agree completely. I like Dr. Spring's definition too. I think
Dr.
all
Spring.
of the researchers in the field that you've just described give us a lot of information.
A lot to think
They also
about.
give us a lot of context.
Yeah.
And that's a part of why we do what we do, right?
Yes.
Just to give you the knowledge so that you can figure out where you
Make
fit
your decision.
and what makes sense for you, right? So let's talk about, before I get into the hurt partner, will you talk about why cheaters cheat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will. I'm happy to talk about that.
Awesome.
The research shows that, we tend to think that it's about sex.
Right.
They're not sexually satisfied, or it's about lust. They're no longer attracted to the
Into
partner.
you, they're bored.
Kind of fell off and that kind of thing. However, what the research shows is most often folks they're lonely, bored. So if you're the type of person where you get lonely, you get bored, go on and get yourself a second job. Or I'm just saying, some of us have attentional issues. Some of us have addictive personalities.
Yeah.
Some of us
This is true.
You
This
got
is
to know
real.
yourself.
Yeah.
Shakespeare says it this way, to thine own self
Be true. Yeah.
Okay, so find yourself something to do. When my kids were young, I would say to them, well, an idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Absolutely. And if you're a parent to a young kid and they watch Daniel Tiger, there's an episode where Daniel Tiger sings, look around and find something to do.
Yes.
Find something to do with yourself. If you figure,
Put your hands to the work.
something
to the work.
constructive.
Yes.
Something that can make
To
you
the
some
Lord's
money.
work.
Something that's gonna,
Yes.
increase the quality of life for
Yes.
yourself, for your family. Knowing yourself is really important. So I don't mind.
Devil's workshop.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good. Good.
Well, with that, let's go ahead and get some understanding. What you got for us?
Absolutely. So today we're going to also talk about what happens to the hurt party after a betrayal. Well, Dr. Janice Springs spends a lot of time here because, once again, her belief is that the hurt partner needs ministry.
Yeah.
Simultaneously, her belief is also that the hurt partner also has to listen to the partner who has betrayed them and hold space for them at the same time. So it's a really beautiful mending kind of healing situation that we'll talk about in another video. So what happens? What is the impact of the affair on the hurt partner, right? So there are psychological impacts, and she identifies these as losses, right? At the end of every impact. So you'll hear me say the name of the impact, and then you'll hear me call it a loss. So she lists 9. So we're going to go through these.
Okay.
So let's talk about number 1, loss of identity.
Yeah.
Right? When you are involved with a romantic partner, you share an identity. I have my separate identity, you have your separate identity, and then we have our identity. This collective identity still touches our individual identities, right? And so when there has been an affair or a betrayal, there is a loss of identity there. And I think it's so important to understand that, and I'm glad she lists that as number 1. It's kind of like an umbrella for the other losses, right? So who you are, who you were to this person.
The ideal.
Yeah.
With an L.
There we go.
Yeah.
Good. Absolutely.
Like what I imagined us to be.
Absolutely.
Never in a million years would I imagine that,
Yeah.
I was watching an episode of The Real Talk.
Yeah.
The Real Kim.
Yeah, Real Talk Kim.
Real Talk Kim.
Oh, hey,
with
girl.
Caitlin. So I was
Right.
watching Kate. We were watching the service, and then she said, "It's the one that says to you, I will never leave you, that you got to watch out for, because this is what
Yeah. Absolutely.
the betrayal.
Yeah.
This is, you never saw it coming.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so you lose this sense of the identity of you promised me.
Absolutely. And also how your identity, your collective identity, bleeds over into your individual identity. So you might think you are someone because you are connected to somebody because of
Mrs.
the commitment
on your sweatshirt.
Whatever,
Mrs.
right? Girlfriend, Mrs., Miss, husband, boyfriend, whatever.
You know how we say, honeydew.
Right, absolutely.
Honeydew. This is my honeydew.
Right, and that might fill your tank up, right? And the loss of that, the after effects of the affair can change that identity. Let's go to the next one. They all kind of lead into each other. Number 2, sense of specialness. What dictates, what differentiates me and my partner between somebody off the street? I'm special to my partner, and my partner is special to me. Unfortunately, after an affair, there is a loss of a sense of specialness, and that sense of specialness typically connects you to your partner in an emotional way, in a romantic way, right? And
because we're doing something that I don't do with anybody else in this world. 8 billion people in this world, and you are the one person that I'm doing this with, and I thought you were the other person that was doing the same with me.
And that fuels my dedication to want to continue to hold up my end of the bargain. So a sense of specialness is really key in relationships, and it's really important to identify that. Number 3, a loss of self-respect. For debasing yourself, fortifying your basic values to win your partner back. We see this a lot in therapy. Your self-respect can go down, which is vital in self-actualization. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The top, the need at the very top, self-actualization, purpose, self-identity, understanding myself, having self-respect. All of these things are vital to our mental health. And when I recognize that I'm kind of leaving myself to win my partner back,
I'm like railroad tracks? And you could just be the railroad train and just run over me, choo choo.
Absolutely, like that. And I'm letting it happen. My self-respect, there's a loss there, which has deep psychological effects as well.
It is very deep. And there has to be a line somewhere. On the Lemonade album, we heard it said this way: if you do this shit again, you're gonna lose your wife.
Right. Number 4, self-respect for failing to acknowledge that you were wronged. So that looks like for some of our clients and just people in general who kind of like bury their head in the sand. So whether the partner knows that you know, or the partner doesn't know that you know, but you know, and you're continuing to like move on with life because you feel like it's easier. Absolutely. There's a loss of
image.
There's a loss of self-respect there, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there, that we're talking to on a weekly basis that are, navigating this loss.
Well, it happens also when, and I so appreciate how you're breaking this down, when you have said to the person, no, that cyber affair that you're having really hurts me, and then they gaslight you, and they're like, no, it's really not an affair because I'm not having sex, and they keep doing it because you keep seeing the phone number, on the thing. And here's the deal, y'all, and this is what we really want to put out there. This is the seriousness of this thing. Because of the different types of affairs, and because in particular about this cyber affair, mixed with the casual affair, one of the things that we do as we're trying to make sense of an affair, this is the understanding portion, is start to check things. It becomes almost obsessive.
Rumination.
Obsessive. So there's so many devices for you to check, sir. Or sis.
That's perfect.
And so you're checking phones, you're checking iPads, you're checking the phone records, you're checking up under the bed. I don't know what you're checking. You're checking the car. You're checking
everything.
The weight of that and the toll of that. It's too much to check because all at the same time you got kids to raise or a job to do, and your health is deteriorating. And as I shared a couple of episodes ago, we must handle each other better than that. We've all been through so much in the past 3 years.
Totally.
The collective unconscious is suffering, and then we have war in this world, and it's just so for the financial situations. This is the human condition.
A lot going on.
That's why we're talking about it, because we're sending a whole lot of healing vibes to anybody out there that has been on the other side of this. That has been checking stuff, and your heart was just broken and you couldn't stop. You thought you couldn't stop.
Right.
Want to put a plug in for therapy right now to say, go on and see yourself a therapist or a life coach.
That's a perfect segue into number 5.
Let's do it.
Which is control over your thoughts and actions.
Yeah,
there's a loss of control over your thoughts and actions. Just like, I don't even know if we need to reiterate that because you did such a good job. Yeah, you have this kind of impulsive, obsessive,
thinking about it all the time.
nature, and you almost can't stop.
Why was she better than me? What's it about her?
Right.
That you
over
chose
and
her.
over.
Yeah.
And the sad part about this is that it's taking away from, like you said, your actual business, which is raising your children for some, going to work for others, taking care of yourself. Right.
You didn't cheat.
Right.
So it's almost like you are being re-traumatized over and over again, and you didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
At least as it relates to, if you would have known they didn't like, they wanted to have sex more, or they wanted to whatever.
Right.
This is probably an episode not to be watching with your children around you, because we are just going to go. Stay tuned because we got some more to talk about.
Right.
But this is a real deal, and we just want to make it real.
Number 6, fundamental sense of order and justice in the world. So this is starting to get, you kind of talked about the collective unconscious. This is starting to get a little bit more existential because it's so vital to you, your romantic relationship. It almost, that's why it's so important, right? It's almost imperative. It's almost undeniable that this will reach this level of pain.
Why? Because you're asking why.
Yeah.
Why did this happen to me? I'm a good person.
Fundamental order and justice in the world, karma, those sorts of beliefs. Number 7, religious beliefs. These are all connected.
My God. Come on, talk to me.
Right, God, why? Right?
I prayed about it.
I go to church.
Yeah.
I'm not a cheater. I don't cheat. I try to do my best.
Right.
Or, if you are the party that is involved in the affair, Lord, I'm praying for you to take these desires away. I just keep messing up. It just gets to be, this thing. And so she talks about the loss of those. That's why it's really important to understand what's happening to you. That's why these videos are so, shout out to us. Because
you too for watching.
If you don't know what's happening, you kind of just feel like you're in this tornado. Yeah, but these are actual things that have happened to other people.
Yes.
So once you identify it, once you name it, you can tame it, right?
Come on, somebody.
Number 8, connection with others. If I can't trust the person that I'm laying down with, that I'm sleeping with, that I'm raising kids with, that I'm sharing bills with, that I cook food for, I wash their drawers, it's just down the line. Why on God's blue earth is what my brother used to say. He used to say, the majority of the earth is water, Lauren. Why do you keep saying God's green earth? He's right. Shout out to Chet. Right.
Yeah.
Why on God's blue earth would I want to engage in any connection with anybody else? On the flip side of that, it could also be due to embarrassment and shame, right? Loss of self-respect, those sorts of things. Number 9, the final one, okay? Right? And we want to plug, again, the mental health services, right? If you're like, okay, I'm feeling some of these, we want to encourage you to reach out. Number 9, sense of purpose.
Yeah.
Why am I here? Right?
Desire to live.
What am I doing here?
I have had clients that have really had suicidal ideation because of that.
Right, absolutely. Because it's so devastating. Everything that we do is because of love, right? All we need is love. Love is all we need. Like all of these songs that we create, it's so true. Like, I'm motivated to do things because I love my kid, because I love my mom, because I love my friends, because I love my partner. And when the foundation is in the romantic relationship, along with friendships, but romantic relationships a little deeper because it is the relationship that you choose.
It's attachment.
It's a relationship that you go out of your way to form with a person, which is also so difficult to conceptualize. That whole concept of, if we made this commitment, if we said, out of all the people in the world, this is who I want to do this with, why sabotage that, right? That can really disrupt, all of the things that we just talked about and your purpose, right? How do I trust myself to continue to move forward if that decision that I made was kind of off,
oh my God,
right?
You're talking now, because we started questioning our decision making and start questioning our wisdom.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is a good segue into wisdom. So we have really worked through today infidelity. And I don't know if I've ever even heard it, explained in the way that we did it today. You have some knowledge and understanding around what infidelity is, the different types of affairs, and how infidelity affects the party that has been hurt, right? So we're leaving you with a bit of a cliffhanger because you want to tell them about what we're going to do next? Yeah.
So part 2 of this will be recovering from infidelity.
We ain't going to leave y'all hanging.
We got good news.
Yeah, we got good news.
Stay
okay,
tuned,
so
people.
You need to watch part 2.
Yes.
In the meantime, though, Mom, what's your wisdom related to infidelity and everything we've talked about today?
Yeah, wisdom. There is so much because I can speak to this subject both personally and professionally, right? So I can speak to the devastating effects of relationship trauma due to being the hurt partner. I can speak to that. I can speak to this idea that if you just hold on a little while longer, you will realize that sometimes you can work it out, you can move forward, sometimes you can't. And people come into your life, and when that partner and you are learning together and growing, that's the purpose of the relationship. You're on the ship. But if you've ever been on a cruise ship, you get off and you go to port. And if the ship leave and you're not back on time, it keep going.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you're not on time.
Right.
Sometimes that person's on another type of time.
Okay.
And you got to move on.
Right.
Learn your lesson.
Yeah, they want to stay on port.
Oh, they want to stay.
They
like it there.
Yeah, they love it.
Yeah, they like it. They don't want to ride with you on the ship. So, take the lesson, learn the lesson, as the young people say, charge it to the game.
Yeah.
And go on and love yourself. That's the wisdom that I would offer. How about you?
Yeah, I guess this is just a season of life I'm in, but just trust your intuition.
Oh, that's good.
Trust yourself, right? With the information that we've provided to you today, you have some knowledge and understanding related to infidelity and affairs. If anything that you have heard resonates with you, spend some time with yourself, and trust whatever direction that you want to go moving forward. But recovering from an affair is our next episode. So you guys, thank you so much for watching this video, for being on this journey with us, you guys. We love what we do, and we're going to keep it coming. As we always say, like, comment, subscribe, you guys, please. We are on the road to 100 subscribers. We're almost there. Share this video, most importantly. And you guys, be well. And we will see you the next. I know that's right.
S-S-S-S-S-S-U.
I know that's right. Bye.
This episode should not be used as a substitute for medical or mental health advice. Individuals are advised to seek independent medical advice, counseling, and/or therapy from a healthcare professional with respect to any medical condition, mental health issue, or health inquiry, including matters discussed on this episode.